Alright guys, listen up, we're getting some serious competition from Battlefield 6 this year, so we really need to make a great campaign for Black Ops 7. What's your ideas? How about we do a stealthy sniper mission like All Giddied Up from COD 4? The community really loved that. No, we've done too many stealth sniper missions in the past, we need something else now. How about doing an overpowered vehicle mission like flying around on a rocket ship or something? We could really do something good with their futuristic setting. Overpowered vehicle missions in a game that's set in 2035 where we can have creative liberties. Don't be so stupid. Has anyone here ever played Elden Ring before? Call of Duty meets Elden Ring, you say? I like it. I made a video back in November 2023 where I branded Modern Warfare 3's campaign, the newer version, as the worst Call of Duty campaign of all time. And at the time of making that video, I didn't really think that Call of Duty campaigns could get much worse than that one. But step forward Black Ops 7. A campaign that is so bad, I genuinely cannot believe that it was signed off for development. And I'm going to run through why I think this is the worst Call of Duty campaign of all time. So there will be spoilers, so this is your spoiler alert warning. Although, my advice would be, don't bother playing it. Let's get into it. Now, normally on my Call of Duty campaign reviews, I kind of go through the whole premise of the campaign, talk through what it's about, show footage of it, and then I get into what I like and don't like about it. However, I can't face it with this one, basically, so I'm just going to run through what is just incredibly bad about this campaign. And it starts off with a cutscene showing David Mason and Marshall at Woods' grave. Woods lived to be 104, and I'd be gutted the fact that his name is still being dragged through the mud in this Black Ops franchise at this point. But basically this is a lengthy cutscene, and you can't skip this cutscene. In fact, you can't skip any cutscenes throughout this entire campaign, or at least I couldn't anyway playing solo. So once that cutscene ends, you're not actually put in a mission where you play the game. You actually are brought to a menu that just looks like something out of multiplayer, zombies, or Warzone. And that's because this entire campaign is played online. The idea of the Black Ops 7 campaign is that it's a co-op 4-person player campaign. However, you can play it solo by queuing in solo and just switch and fill off so you don't get a squad. Now, the problem with this is that, one, I did decide to play it solo, but that means that you have to connect to a server to play it, much like you had to do sort of in Black Ops 6 with zombies, where you had to connect to the server even though you're playing solo. You have to do the same thing for the campaign. And because you have to connect to an online server, you actually can't pause the game. Now, you can pause the game on zombies even though you connect to an online server, so I don't know why that's a feature over there, but not for the Call of Duty campaign, even when you're playing solo. But yeah, you can't pause the campaign. And if you're playing solo and you sit idle for too long, so you need to go to the toilet or you want to grab a drink, you get kicked out of the game. And if you get kicked out of the game, or you decide to quit the game and then think, oh, I want to come back to this later, you actually lose all your progress as a solo, and you've got to then go back in and start again from the beginning of the mission, which just makes no sense. I don't get why we've now got a campaign that's hosted solely online. Why not have it offline and then an online element for the co-op part of it? At one point during my solo playthrough of this campaign, I jumped up to 51 ping, which actually kind of really messed up the hit reg and kind of how I was feeling playing the game. And I don't get why I'm having to worry about ping when I'm playing a solo Call of Duty campaign. Now, I know that in the lead up to Black Ops 7's release, the campaign was bigged up as being a co-op campaign. Now, Call of Duty has done co-op campaigns in the past. However, those campaigns have very much been single-player games with a co-op element. Now, I don't think it was very clearly messaged across to us all that Black Ops 7's campaign would be a co-op campaign, but you can play it single-player if you want to. And I think there lies in the problem a little bit with this. And it feels like I've kind of been a bit gaslit over this because I was pretty sure this was going to be a single-player campaign with co-op elements. So I went back to what the developers said when this campaign was revealed, and well, turns out I kind of am being gaslit a little bit.
From the start, our goal was to tell a story that could stand on its own while also honoring the legacy of the series.
That guy said that with a straight face. A campaign that could stand on its own and honor the legacy of Black Ops. I'm sorry, but if you worked as the developer on Black Ops 1, game's pretty much, very, very good. Or even Black Ops 2, that is probably the closest to a masterpiece Call of Duty's ever got. And then you see this, which is supposed to be a direct sequel to Black Ops 2. You're telling me that this pays tribute and honors the legacy of the series? I don't think so, man. So as I mentioned, this is obviously a co-op game, but you can play it single player if you want to. And because of this, if you're playing the campaign solo, you actually get no AI teammates. In fact, the only AI help you get throughout this entire campaign is a horde of zombies towards the end of it when you're trying to escape Vorkuta. And what makes this even trippier as a solo experience is that you can hear voice lines from the other characters as you're playing the campaign, and when you see the cutscenes, all 4 main characters are there, but when you're actually physically playing the game, you're just kind of a lone wolf fighting against hordes and hordes of enemies. There's no sort of immersive aspect of it or anything like that, and for me personally, it really sort of hinders any character development. Like, at one point it looks like a character might die, and I'm like, couldn't care less. Like, I don't know anything about them because guess what? I've not been playing the game with them.
Built for solo or co-op play, this campaign pulls you into a threat that demands your attention.
Built for solo or co-op play. That is a straight up lie. This campaign is not built for solo play whatsoever. If it was built for solo play, you'd be able to pause it, you'd be able to have AI teammates, you know, you'd be able to do an awful lot of things. In fact, it wouldn't even be online if it was built for solo play. That is just a straight up lie. Now, Call of Duty campaigns have never really been a massive in-depth storytelling experience. They are Call of Duty campaigns, you know, you've got to take them for what they are. But just picture this. Just imagine, say, Modern Warfare 2, the OG one, but you're just a full-on lone wolf, so there's no Captain Price, there's no Soap, there's no Ghost. Or say, Black Ops 1 without Woods and Reznov being there. That's just a entirely different game altogether. And it's a very lonely and boring experience. Well, Black Ops 7 suffers from that because you don't get anybody to sort of interact with during the game or anything like that. It's just you fighting enemy after enemy after enemy. I don't get why they've decided not to have AI teammates. Anyway, during the first mission of the Black Ops 7 campaign, you get exposed to a biological weapon called the Cradle. Now, the Cradle has been mentioned in various other Black Ops games, so it's nothing really new for Black Ops 7. And basically, this biological weapon causes us to trip our big style to the point where we have sort of nightmares and hallucinations and all that kind of stuff. And again, this is nothing new for Black Ops campaigns because, well, there's always been some sort of mind control or mind-bending element to the Call of Duty Black Ops campaigns, right back from the Black Ops 1 days. And this part of the campaign has been very heavily criticised on social media. I mean, for instance, we have sort of giant machetes falling out of the air. We have like a giant, you know, operator that we fight. We fight a plant at one point for some weird reason. And a lot of people who have been defending these creative decisions say that, well, they're sort of nightmares or dreams or hallucinations. They're not meant to be real. But to me personally, it feels like the developers have taken a lot of creative liberties based on this. And well, just because they can doesn't mean they should. These sort of trip-out sequences or whatever kind of always end up in a boss fight. And for me personally, it feels like the developers are just playing an awful lot of Elden Ring. Because that's what this feels like, really. For some reason, we have sort of giant health bars at the top of the screen when we fight bosses, and there's basically a boss fight every other level. As you progress the game, you also get things like health upgrades, armor upgrades, and movement speed upgrades. Just like you would playing a game like Elden Ring. And at one point, you even fight a giant version of Daryl Dixon's brother. Right. And now, I'm old enough to remember when Call of Duty games looked like this. Onto the missions themselves, and well, there just isn't any substance to them in the slightest. Which probably explains why it took around 4.5 hours for me to finish this entire campaign off. By the end of it, I was just running past enemies. I was so done with it. I was so over it. I was like, I can't be bothered anymore. Just run past them. One of the things that I was a big fan of before this game released was that the developers said they were bringing back linear Call of Duty missions. Now, back with sort of Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and Black Ops 6, we kind of had like open world missions where you could do side objectives or just go and do the main objective. Now, Black Ops 7 did bring back linear objectives, linear missions. However, some of them were very sort of small enclosed missions, which I was a fan of. Very much old school Call of Duty missions. They worked. Some of them, though, are based in Avalon, which was the shelved Battle Royale map, where you had to run like 400 odd meters to an objective, which, don't get me wrong, I get that it's still a linear mission, but like, you don't need to be running 400 plus meters to get to an objective, you know what I mean? Like, we could have just cut all that out, really. So yes, linear missions are back, but there is also still an element of being able to explore stuff, which again was kind of, we were told we're going to move away from. So I think promises weren't kept there. And even though we got linear missions back, the developers didn't really think to add a lot of variety to these missions. Every level was either like a go and collect this mission or go and defend this mission. Once you played the first few mission objectives, just those objectives like purely, you kind of played them all.
Mission variety is at the core of Black Ops 7.
Don't think it is.
I can say that you are definitely going to see some of the most trippy shit you have ever seen in a Call of Duty campaign.
I mean, that guy called it. Fair play. Alright, I get it. He called it. We should have listened more to him, really, before this game dropped.
Things are gonna progress.
Will got it. Will understood what this was, because he's right. It's the trippiest thing ever from a Call of Duty campaign. And I don't think we took them seriously enough. And then when you look beyond the repetitive objectives, the missions start to get very, very tiring very, very quickly because for some reason, and I don't get why, every enemy in this campaign is just a bullet sponge. Look at this clip of me shooting enemies with his shotgun. A shotgun at point blank range, and it barely tickles them. The only upside to this was that there was armor and ammo plates pretty much all over the gaff because you were chewing through that many bullets trying to kill enemies that I think the developers realised there was no choice but to give us armor and ammo. And speaking of armor plates and collecting ammo and stuff like that, I'm a fan of Warzone. But I don't get why Call of Duty is shoehorning Warzone elements into every other aspect of the game. Like in the Call of Duty campaign, why do I need to be looting crates for different weapons? Whatever happened to running out of ammo so then you go pick up an enemy gun off the ground and use that? Or why am I having to loot for ammo and plates? Or in fact, why am I even putting on plates in a campaign full stop? What happened to just a normal health bar? And then you have to look at why is the whole campaign set in the Battle Royale map that decided to shelve? And even more so, why are multiplayer aspects from different games being used in the Black Ops 7 campaign? For instance, you start one mission on Black Ops 2's Hijacked, which is literally just a literal copy and paste of the multiplayer map. And then you also end another mission in a penthouse apartment, which is Skyline from Black Ops 6. Again, just a simple copy and paste of that entire multiplayer map. Now, Call of Duty has always sort of shared assets across its different sort of avenues, so campaign and multiplayer have had overlap in the past where campaign settings have been multiplayer maps. But at least back in the day, it felt like the campaign settings were the inspiration for the multiplayer maps. They weren't just a direct, straight up copy and paste of multiplayer maps into a campaign. And all of this reusing of content just adds to the weight of the argument that these two same franchise titles are basically just DLC content priced at £70 plus. And basically that's all these games are at this point. It's no coincidence that these now second worst ever Call of Duty campaign in the form of Modern Warfare 3 was given the same sort of DLC label as what Black Ops 7 does. It's purely because that the games don't really offer any sort of variety year on year. If you're going to release a Modern Warfare 2 and a Modern Warfare 3 or a Black Ops 6 and a Black Ops 7 straight after each other, you need them to be a lot different. And if you still don't believe me over that these sort of sequel games are just downloadable content at this point, go and watch or play Black Ops 6 Zombies. And then go and do exactly the same thing with Black Ops 7 Zombies. Tell me what major differences you see between those two games. Basically, to sum it up, the entire Black Ops 7 campaign was just complete slop. I would genuinely love to watch an Office-style documentary series showing what happened behind the scenes with the creative decisions to create this campaign, because I imagine it would be pure cinema. I'm going to end this on two positives because this has been a very negative video, and don't get me wrong, I'm forever the optimist when it comes to Call of Duty, but even I can't find all too much good with this campaign. The first positive is that Avalon looks fantastic as a Battle Royale map. It looks so vibrant and the colour palette really reminds me of Blackout, so I would imagine that in a Warzone setting, if the game is in a decent place, then it actually might provide a little bit of fun and entertainment, but we'll have to wait and see. It's actually a crime that we didn't get this map with Black Ops 6 when that released, because if we did, Warzone might not have been as horrendously bad as it was over the course of the last year, but hey ho, they shelved it in favour of Verdansk. We should have had Avalon and Verdansk, in my opinion. And the second positive that I take from the Black Ops 7 campaign is that thank God for the Xbox PC Game Pass, because there is no way anyone should be spending £70+ dollars, whatever your currency is, on this game. Like, Call of Duty is a year-on-year bestseller, and yet year-on-year the quality and what we are given just seems to be decreasing and decreasing and decreasing to the point where it's becoming criminal at this point. So yeah, those are the only positives I can take from the campaign. I think that every major decision that has been made in relation to the Black Ops 7 campaign has just been the wrong one. I just don't think we should have gone down a mind-bending route. I don't think we should have had boss fights in it. I think it could have been a whole load better. You had a near-futuristic sandbox to play with, and this is what was served up. And what I will say as well is that especially after the multiplayer beta when they started announcing that they were going to change things that the community don't like, so like skill-based matchmaking and stuff like that. It's not hard to see why they've done that now. And they've obviously done that because they realised they were serving us this while Battlefield 6 was over there in the corner very much cooking up and still is producing a decent first-person shooter alternative to the Call of Duty audience. And I'm a little bit in disbelief that once again we are sat in a position waiting for an Infinity Ward title to once again save the Call of Duty franchise. Let me know your thoughts on the campaign in the comments below. Did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Did you think that it was okay? Did you hate it like I did? Let me know. I don't know how much Black Ops 7 content there's going to be going forward because I'm not vibing with the game in the slightest. But we will see. I'll catch you in the next one.